All right, let's get started. So today's guest is someone who doesn't just talk about self-improvement, she lives it, teaches it, and guides others through it, not only with knowledge, but with wisdom. She's a woman of many talents, which includes being a clinical hypnotherapist, an NLP trainer, and someone who's mastered the art of transformation across wealth, relationships, and inner healing. She's the number one international best-selling author and the founder of Ventura Healing Center. She is a prime example of someone utilizing her gifts to bring out her passion, which ultimately provides her with purpose. It's a true pleasure today to introduce Keya. Keya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I love that intro. And I love how we laughed into it. I love that
Yeah,
flow.
that was beautiful. No pun intended, right?
hmm
So, you're a woman of many talents, and you've taken many paths throughout your life. But what has led you to this incredible journey you're on now?
Life. The short answer is life. And if you want a 30-second answer, the answer is it's a series of contracts I signed even before I was conceived.
Yeah, that's beautifully complex, though, really,
hmm
because you personally did not have any say in that contract.
I did. We all do. Everyone has a say in the contract they sign. There is no gun held to their head. Again, no pun intended.
I guess what I
If you,
mean to say is, before we enter this realm,
Mhm,
our memories were somewhat erased. So our memory of the actual contract itself that we signed up for doesn't
mhm.
exist to us, correct?
It does. It's part of your soul DNA. It does exist in you. And we all struggle and suffer and go through all the strife and the misgivings because we are not aligned with that. And life is all about learning to honor that sacred contract and fulfilling it. Otherwise, you'll have to come back again and repeat it, and you don't know when.
Is there a way for us as individuals to become more aligned purposely to our soul contract?
Absolutely. Everyone has the choice to do that, but we get lost in the fluff. We get lost in our ego. We get lost, and ego is a huge word. I will break it down. We get lost in three things: hatred, greed, and the delusion. We see something shiny and we run for it. And you ask someone, why do you want that shiny stuff? And they'll give you all the reasons. And you keep asking, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? And in the end, it comes down to only one thing. I want to experience love and I want to feel peace.
I can respect that, definitely. And I can resonate with that as well. What does it really mean to love yourself, though? Like, how does
Ooh,
someone... Go ahead.
how does someone love themselves?
Yeah.
I don't know if we will be able to complete it in this conversation, but I will try. And you keep asking me questions so I can go deeper. You
Certainly.
learn to love yourself by 4 steps. It's a 4-step formula, okay, that I have been practicing for 24 years now because I know it came to me. I know the day it came to me because I'm a thinker, okay? I'm primarily a thinker. And it doesn't mean that thinkers don't feel, and it doesn't mean feelers don't think. Okay, like when we say people are thinkers and people are feelers. Okay, so you're a feeler, but feelers also think and thinkers also feel. But my default is like, oh, let me think about it. Oh, what does it mean? Because left brain, right? Rational brain, the mathematician, the physicist, the computer scientist. Okay, that's how you are wired. That's how I'm wired. So This 4-step process is, first we need to understand. Once you understand it, understand is a mental process. Then you have to accept it. Acceptance is an emotional process. Then you have to forgive. Honor your past and forgive. And then you get to organically fall into love with yourself and everything around you.
How does someone go about forgiving themselves for past guilt, maybe even things that they're not aware that they're holding on to subconsciously?
They work with someone like me. They work with an alchemist, someone who can hold space for them where they feel safe, that they can unwind, that they can unravel the past to reveal the present, because there is no future. Okay. When you say future and you think of tomorrow, but when tomorrow shows up, it's already today, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So bottom line, you have to unravel the past. And there's a story. Okay. And the story goes, there's a cop walking on the road and he sees a man under a street light looking for something. And he goes and tells him, "Hello, sir, can I help you?" And he says, "Yeah, I lost my key." So the cop says, "Oh, let me help you." And the cop is also helping the guy find the key. And he asks him, "Did you lose the key here? Are you sure?" He says, "No, I didn't lose it here." He said, "Where did you lose it?" "Oh, at the end of the alley." He said, "Then why are you looking over here?" And the guy says, "Because it's dark over there. There's no light, so I can't find it over there. That's why I'm looking for it where there's light." And that's what we all do. We are trying to run away from our shadow and run towards light, dragging our shadow along with us. But you have to turn around, and working with someone like me will help you feel safe so you can look into your shadow and find that key so you can unlock the door to your home.
Yeah. You know, working with someone like you, I guess to kind of backtrack a bit, what would you consider yourself in terms of your profession and what you do with people?
I wish I had an answer. I have been called by many names. Once, one of my clients, after the session was done, he says, "You know what I told my wife today?" I said, "What?" He said, "I told her that I'm going to see my heart specialist." And I'm like, "You never told me you're going to see a heart specialist." And he says, "Keya, you're my heart specialist. You make me feel better." So I was like leaving home, and my wife said, "Are you going to work?" And says, "No, I'm going to see my heart specialist." So there you go.
Yeah. You know, you've
You know,
also said that a lot of coaches these days, they're just like forward focused, like do this and chase that. Why do you think that that doesn't really work for the long term?
if you say, "I want to lose weight," very generic statement, right? I want to lose weight. What am I going to tell you? You need to watch your calories and you need to work out and you need to drink water. You know all that, okay? Even a kid knows all that. A teenager knows all of that. But that's what a coach will tell you. A coach will come up with a plan for you and tell you to do it. You say you want to make money, right? Everybody wants to make money. You go to a coach and a coach is like, "Oh, I'm the money coach, I'm the business coach, I'm the success coach." And what are they going to tell? "Let's come up with a plan. How much money do you want?" Here's the standard questions. "How much money do you want?" And you say $1 million or $100,000, whatever you come up with. "And by when do you want to come?" And you'll be like, "Yesterday, of course." Then both of you will laugh. Then you'll be like, "Oh, 6 months, by the end of this year, or by next year this time." And they'll tell you. What are they going to tell you? Pick up the phone, go through the yellow pages, and make the calls. Or nowadays, because of social media, because I come from the old world, this is what was told. Now it's oh, do 3 posts a day, do 3 posts on TikTok, go on Instagram, go live, do the reel. Does anyone tell you anything different? They'll tell you, or another thing, since we talked about health and we talked about wealth, let's talk about relationships. "Oh, I want someone to love me." "Oh, you need to go on the dating app. and you need to go and do this, and you go on Meetup, go to a bar, go to a social event, and tell them this, and dress like this, and wear this perfume, and wear this cologne. And all this is external. Even a 5-year-old can tell you, 10-year-old can tell you. But that's not what people are really looking for. So
What
without
do you
honoring the
go ahead?
past, without working on your foundation, how are you going to build on it? For example, if you tell me, I want to build a house, so what am I going to ask you? Okay, do you have a plan? And you say, yeah, I have a plan. I'm like, okay, good. What's your plan? And you're like, oh, I know I want to build a house. I have it in my head. So the next thing I'll tell you is, okay, draw it on a piece of paper. So from the mental plane, you brought it down to the physical plane. And then with the house drawn on a piece of paper, can you build a house? No. You need the permission from the city. You go to the city, and the city says, okay, fine, get an architect to sign off on it. They'll sign off on it. And then what are you going to do? The taller the building you want to build, the deeper the ground you have to dig. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you
Do
have
people
to
need
work with your past in order to move into the future.
Now, would it be possible for someone who's not fully healed to still build a better future for themselves, or do they actually need to go through the process of fully healing before they can actually build something that will be lasting?
I need, okay, okay, lasting. You said the word lasting. That means you're
Hmm.
looking for something permanent.
In a
And
sense.
one of the key to life is to know nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. It cannot be permanent. Anything that was built will be destroyed. Anything that was born will have to die. So nothing is lasting. And this is where ego comes in. You cannot get attached to the outcome. You cannot get. So if you want to work on the future, you have to deal with the past. You have to turn around and deal with your shadows. And like Jesus had to deal with Satan, Buddha had to deal with Mara. I can make a list of all the grandmasters who had to deal with all the demons and conquered those demons in order to be the light they became. And they are still a throbbing pulse in today's society. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, name anyone. Everyone had to deal with their past in order to become the light that they became. Because you always have a choice, Sunflow. You walk into a room, turn on the light, or you walk into a room and you become the light. You are the light. So healing is nothing else but that process of unraveling the shadows from the past. And the shadows from the past for mortals like you and me, first is our anger, then is our grief, then this is the way it is stacked in our neurology, then it is our fear, then guilt, then our hurt, then our pain, then our shame, and then our blame, and finally the mother of all, doubts. The only reason people can't move forward is because they doubt themselves, and your doubt is tied to your self-worth, and self-worth is tied to your self-esteem, and that is what gives you the self-confidence.
How does
So you
this
have to
tie
work through those
into
layers.
childhood traumas?
Oh, it all begins in your mama's womb.
Hmm.
Yes, everything is tied to that. Trauma begins at birth. Imagine this baby, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pound baby is being squeezed out of a hole that is invisible. And the baby's head is 10 centimeters or whatever it is, and it needs to push itself out of that hole. That itself is agony, okay? Because the baby was so secure in the mother's womb, in that watery, juicy, gooey, goopy thing floating around, being fed, had to do nothing, could kick around, could stretch, could do all of that stuff. And let's say it wasn't a normal vaginal birth and it was a C-section. The mama got cut open and the baby got pulled out and snapped the umbilical cord. Trauma. Everything was so good and dandy. And now I'm like, now I have to breathe on my own and I have to scream and cry. And when a baby comes out and it doesn't cry, what do? They hang the baby upside down and they slap its back, because just in case something is choked in the, in the windpipe, it comes out. And the baby cries and everybody's like, yay, baby's alive. Baby's breathing. hmm Trauma begins there.
When addressing these childhood traumas, you as a life coach, would you utilize any other techniques outside of your life coach tools? For example,
Oh,
you have, NLP, that you know how to do, also Reiki, and also some other types of shamanism. What in specific would you use to address childhood trauma?
when I'm sitting with a person, because I am the alchemist, okay, I'm a bodhisattva. I am a person who has taken the vow through many lifetimes to alleviate the suffering of all sentient beings, not just human beings, all sentient beings. Okay. So someone like me sits with you. The the greatest gift, Sunflower, you can give anyone on the planet is time. You sit with someone and let them take their own sweet time to unravel. You cannot say this is a 6 session thing. Oh, this is a 6 month thing. Oh, this is a 6 year thing. No, you sit with this person and let the person be in your presence. And yes, of course, you have to flow the energy, as the energy will flow through you. You don't have to do anything. It comes through grace. And grace is the gift you receive from God, if you want to use the word God. And if you are triggered by God, then you can say like a higher power, whatever, higher intelligence. It comes to you. Grace is something that you receive when you don't deserve it. Things that you deserve it and you get it, you earned it. But things you don't deserve and you still get it, that is called grace. This is my dictionary and my definitions, okay? And
Hmm.
through grace, as the energy is flowing, and you have to be receptive to it. You can't heal everyone, although everybody wants to be healed because they are blocked up. Like if somebody wants to work through the doubts and don't want to deal with their fear and guilt, how are you going to do it? This is how it's stacked in our nervous system. That's the order. And you have to go through all of that, go to the root cause of everything, unravel it, receive your lessons from it, receive your learnings from it, bless that space, bless that time, and move forward through your timeline into the now. That is how it is done. So,
A lot of coaches, they lean on their past pain stories to relate to their audience. Do you think that that helps or hurts the clients in the healing journey?
it helps the clients with identification because they feel like they are not alone. Someone else has also gone through this. So they feel like, oh, this person gets me. So that is a foot in the door. And the person will come and tell you their stepmother's story or their father abandonment story or whatever, their drug story or, whatever, the mother died story, whatever story they'll tell you, and you identify with them. Okay. And you give them your credit card and you sign up. And then you tell them your troubles and they will, this is how coaching works. They will repeat the question back to you. For example, somebody comes and tells, my mother left me when I was little, and now I'm 45 years old. And I get it, I have to forgive. And I'm still mad at my mom for abandoning me, and I get mad at myself for being mad at my mom. So do you see how it's a double whammy?
Hmm.
You gave someone your $5,000, your $10,000, your $20,000, and now they throw it back at you, and you still have to work through it. But when they come to someone like me, because I work at all levels, in one session, they're like, oh, how did you do that, Keya? I'm okay with my mom. I feel so much compassion for my mom. I love my mom. I know my mom is a good woman. I know my mom did her best. I know my mom is wonderful. One session, 90 minutes later, 2 hours later, this is what I hear from 100% of my clients.
I do believe that it's very important to forgive your mother in order to proceed with, I guess, overall healing, emotionally.
Not just your mom. With your mom, you're connected with your heart. This is how we connect with our mothers, through our heart. And our fathers, we connect with our mind. So we have to heal both, not just our heart, even in our mind. So through our conscious self and our unconscious self, we have to forgive.
Why should a person forgive even if someone feels that they don't deserve it?
Forgiveness is never for the other. Forgiveness is so you free yourself and you can move on,
Hmm.
right? If I ask
Yeah.
you to forgive me, you'll be like, why the heck should I forgive you? And I'm like, no, you don't need to forgive me. But you're tied to me until you forgive me. And when you forgive me, you're free to move on. Because the people who have hurt you, they occupy your mental real estate. Think about it. They have moved on, and you keep thinking about what they said and did.
Have you encountered clients who say that they're ready for change, but honestly, they don't want to change deep inside? How would you address
Yes.
that?
Yeah. I let them go. I
Interesting.
let them go. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? If they're not ready, you have to give them their money back and say thank you.
Yeah.
Listen,
You know,
okay, you
go
have
ahead.
kids, so I'll ask you, if your kids don't listen to you, what are you going to do? Beat them up? Do you think beating them up they will listen to you? Tell them, I'm your dad. No, you have to let them go. If this is not part of your contract with them, it doesn't matter. Like as a healer, we are told, okay, somebody, like in my first training, formal training of a healer in this lifetime, okay, we are told that you ask because people pay you the money, right? They walk in through your door, they lie on the table. And even before you get next to them, whether you're touching them or not touching them, you ask them, is it okay for us to begin? And they say yes. And if they don't say that yes, you don't begin. Because now something has come up bigger than they can handle and they don't want the healing. Then you just sit till they open their eyes, till they ask any question, or they get up and they leave. And you give them their money back.
That's honorable. I can understand that. Speaking in regards to love, why does
Mhm.
some people continue to pick the same type of person over and over again, even when they're not good for them?
Yes, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces. Yes, because we have a pattern. We have a pattern within us where we feel that we are seen when we hurt. Because think about it, a child, there are many layers to this answer, but for today's conversation, I'm going to tell you something very simple that people can get. A child hears more than 1 million no's, no, the word no, before they are 2 years old. Do you know that?
I can believe that.
And yes, in the olden world, in the old culture, if a child did something good, nobody said anything. "Ah, you're supposed to be good. But if you did something bad, let me get the belt out. Let me throw the shoe at you, chancla, whatever." So they know that negative attention is better than no attention. So in a relationship, when they are being abused, they feel like being in a relation is better than being alone. And it's abandonment issues. They don't want to be abandoned. They take the crap as long as they can, and either that person leaves or they leave. And then guess what? they get together with the same addict because the abuse needs to continue, because that is how they feel validated, that I have someone to come home to. And it's part of our unconscious mind. And all this was determined before you were 7 years old. Anyone who is in an abusive relationship, it's because younger than 7, they decided that because what do children want? They want to be touched, right? They want to be held. And the first language is the language of touch, right? And that language is our lasting language. Even when someone is dying, what do they want? They want someone to hold their hand. I want to hold your hand, Suddenly I want to break into a song, but I'm on Windows 11, so I'm not going to try to sing. But the thing is, the touch. So when a child is ignored and left in the corner, and a child is beaten up, at least they think like, okay, at least I'm getting this touch.
Yeah. How can a person like that overcome years of abuse, like within a relationship between a loved one, whether that be a partner or a
Mhm,
family member?
mhm.
What's one thing that a person can do today at home? Are there any exercises you would probably recommend?
On their own, it is, again, nearly impossible unless they have been touched by an angel. On their own, it is impossible. First thing to start healing is to own that you have a situation that needs to be healed. And then you have to find someone that you connect with and be honest. Don't lie. Because even yesterday, this lady says, yeah, 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 I want to do the work. And we spent an hour and a half together. And then after that, she said, oh, but the money, all these 10 million stories came up. Okay. Because the person is not ready, because suddenly you have the fear of success come in. So if this person, most people heal when they are desperate, when they can't take it anymore. Either they take their own life or they heal themselves. It's the desperation. As long as you're comfortable in your discomfort, you will stay there. You have no reason to come out, because there's always wine, there's always cheese, there's always chocolate, and there's pornography, and there's gambling, and all the other distractions out there that
Yeah, I can agree.
you use as a coping mechanism or as a numbing cream. But if you seriously want to heal, you have to be at that edge of the cliff, at not want to die. And that is when you will sit and say, like, I need someone who can do this for me and help me through this.
Would two broken souls be able to come together in love and become partners to heal themselves, or should they primarily focus on healing themselves first?
We are human, and we are always taught to be in a state of urgency, like you're missing out on something. So yes, two broken souls can come together, and if this is part of their contract, yeah, to help each other heal and grow, then they will. Yes, it's possible.
Yeah. And
Mhm,
the average person you speak with, they also feel some type of lack of money, lack of abundance.
mhm.
How does childhood trauma play a part in, I guess, that lack of abundance mindset?
It's not just childhood trauma, it's ancestral trauma. Okay.
Interesting.
Let's say, yeah, because your parents come from my generation. Okay. They might be a few years older than me or something. I'm just making things up now. Okay. So, because I don't know how old your parents are, I'm just making things up now. But you did not grow up in lack. Maybe your parents also did not grow up in lack. But someone down the line grew up in lack. And what was the universal principle? Oh, spiritual people don't go for money. It's the mean and nasty and the cruel and the power hungry people who go for money. And this is a global issue. It is not America, not India, not Mexico, not anything. It's a global issue where somehow spiritual people are supposed to be poor and desperate and destitute, right? And because you're good people, who's going to go to heaven? The one who can walk through the eye of the needle, but the rich, fat, wealthy man, he is not going to get heaven. All this is part of the script. So, although you had money, okay, growing up, but your parents were like, I'm going to do the best for my child. so that they have a better life than me. Again, this is another global thing. Like, don't you want your children to have a better life than you do?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yeah. So what is your child getting? Not the goodies and the glory you're bestowing on him, even your energetic vibration. I'll give you a story. I'll give you an example. I have heard so many people say, I didn't want to go through a divorce because of my kids. I waited till they graduated high school and they left home. And you talk to the kid, and the kid is like, oh, I was waiting. Why are these two people together? My mom is an awesome mom. My dad is an awesome mom. And together they are the worst parents. Why don't they get a divorce so we can have peace in home? How many such stories have you heard?
Many.
Children know. Children know what their parents are going through. Your pet knows what the owner is going through, what the human is going through. So although your parents had money when you were growing up, but what were they doing? Maybe they sacrificed their own needs to send you on a vacation or a trip or whatever, send you to karate or ballet or whatever. And you knew. You were grateful that you got whatever you got from your parents, but you knew your parents were sacrificing. So guess what? History is just repeating itself. And this is true for all human beings, including me. We are always trying to do more for others than we do for ourselves. So it goes back to your initial question, self-love. And the formula for that, the answer for that is give only from overflow. If you're giving with an agenda, that is a business transaction. Give from overflow. And a standard modern day story is, where does the oxygen mask first go? First for yourself. That is self-love. So you can help the infant, you can help the invalid, you can help the disabled, the elderly. So practice self-love and let that self-love overflow through you as love for anyone else.
Do you have any daily practices which allow you to feel that self-love for yourself?
Yes, too many to tell. Too many to tell. So you have to decide what's right for you. People have asked me, what do you do, Keya? I'm like, whatever I do, you can do. It's not for you. Let's sit down and come up with what's right for you. Like, I always start off by looking at someone's astral chart, the natal chart and the progressive chart and the aspects. So what's going on in your life right now? And if you can go down to 4 simple aspects. So I look at the chart and I see what is more dominant right now in this person. Is it the fire element? Is it the air element? Is it the earth element? Or is it the water element? Let's just go for the sake of this conversation. If someone has a lot of fire element, okay, that needs to be processed, then I will ask them to start running in the morning. Go work out. Go for a swim. Go for a jog. Go for a hike. Process your fire. Expend it. Don't let it burn you up. You burn it out. Now, if someone has water element, I'll tell them, let's start a journaling and meditation practice. So it's different strokes, different folks. And when you look at someone's astral chart, you see where the progressed sun is, where the progressed moon is. And you might say like, oh, I'm a Leo, I'm a Leo, I'm a Leo. You're not just a Leo. There are 10 other planets. Where are they going? And when I say 10, it means like 9 planets, and sun is considered a planet too, and moon is considered a planet too. And you have an ascendant, that is your soul. So your sun rules your ego self, your physical self. Moon rules your emotional self, and your ascendant rules your spirit self. So it depends on which part of your life you are in. Are you in the first act? Then it's more about your ego. Are you in the second act? Then it's more about your emotions. Are you in the third act? Then it's more about your soul. So it's a combination of too many things that you have to work through and help this person come through. Like if someone is in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, I can't tell them, okay, in Los Angeles, you can tell them to go for a hike, but I can't ask them to go for a hike every day because they'll have to drive on this through this traffic jam called 405 and try to get to a place where they can go for a hike. But they can do something else. Maybe they can do push-ups on their floor, right after they take a shower. Right after you take your shower, don't wear your clothes, do a few push-ups and then you do that. And it is like this. So there's too many things that people need to do. Like, because if you think of the three elements, okay, earth, water, and fire, and air, sorry, there's an air too. Anything is out of balance, that is your shadow side. And when it is in balance, it's working for you, that is your light. So everything has the light, everything has the shadow. Like the shadowy part of earth would be you feel stuck in life. That means your earth element is stuck. Now, how do you bring it into balance? That is the process you go and work on your stability, because the light of earth is stability. Those who have earth in balance, they have stability in their life. But those who are dealing with the shadow of earth, they are feeling stuck. Air. Air is ideas, air is creation, air is inspiration. And that's the light. But shadow, feeling lost. I don't know what to do. Water. When water is in imbalance, it's overwhelmed. I don't know, I have so much emotions. But when water is in balance, oh, you're in the flow of life. So it's like that, You have to sit with someone who can look at your chart, look at what's going on, and honor that and come up with a step-by-step strategy that will work for you. It's not like, oh, the earth people need to do this. No, it's extremely personalized because you are as unique, like I talked about soul DNA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your fingerprint is unique. It never existed in the past and never will exist in the future, and no one else during your lifetime will ever have it. Similarly, your voice is unique to you. No one can have your voice because it's your vocal cords, it's your throat chakra. It's how you speak. It's how you sing. It is how you express yourself. So I sit with my client and we come up with something that is doable now. The goal may be $1 million, but let's make that first dollar. Then let's go to $10, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000. Then 100,000. It's always focus on the next step. But to get to the next step, you have to be present in your present. And to be present in your present, you have to honor your past and deal with your shadows, work through it, process it, bless it, release it. So the present truly becomes a present in your life.
Yeah, there's a sense of needing to, I guess, surrender, right? We hear that a lot in
Mm-hmm.
our world, right? Surrendering and releasing control. But when someone has so much to accomplish, how would they be able to surrender to that?
Yeah.
What
It
is it?
is
I guess, what
okay.
does it mean to surrender and release control?
Exactly. Okay. Yes. Yes. That is why, because again, you're asking super loaded questions. You're asking, and it takes lifetimes to figure all of this out. So, but I'm so glad and so grateful to you, Senflo, that we are having this conversation, because I want people to have a glimpse and not just connect with someone on YouTube or on the stage or on a podcast just because they said something and you're like, oh, yeah, 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 they get me. Common trauma, like you talked, if two broken souls together, can they heal? Yeah, if they want to. Yes, they can and they will. But they have to do the work. That's the work. So when you have so much to accomplish, ask yourself, what is the purpose? Because all you're chasing is that feeling of love and the feeling of peace. You're not chasing the $1 million, because when you were born, you were not born with $1 million in your fists. And when you die, you're not taking a U-Haul truck with your $1 million with you, unless you're like King Tut, the cripple who needed a tomb with live people in it. Okay, it's a good story. But think about it. The accomplishment is only for that feeling that I did it, I can. So when you come from that place that you can and you will and you deserve, and at different stages of your life, you have different goals. When you were 2 years old, you had a different goal. When you were 12, something else. And then you were 22 and something else. And now you're 32 and something else. And at 42, it will be something else. And at 52, it will be something else. And 62, it will be something else. So everything you want to accomplish is only with one goal. Is that feeling. We are chasing a feeling.
These these phases in our lives that we go through, they can be mapped out in our astrological charts, correct?
Absolutely 100%. Yes.
Now, if someone were to be hearing this for the first time and they were just curious and maybe looking into it, what would you recommend, I guess, from a macro perspective? Where would they start looking? What would they want to, I guess, really tackle first and do research on first?
Depending on their age. So I'll give you something very broad and very generic because I don't know this person. Okay. If you're younger than 28, okay, if you're younger than 28, then you have to deal with your ego needs. If you're between 28 and 58, you have to deal with your emotional needs. And if you're older than 58, then it is your soul needs. What fulfills your soul? But this is for a person who's not emotionally stuck at some place in their life. So I'm just talking about the physical age because I have met people, and on TikTok, this man, honestly, he watched one of my videos and then he says, Keya, you're so right. I'm a 45-year-old man and sometimes I feel like a 4-year-old. Guess what happened at 4 when I talked to this person? Dad left home and he became the dad of the family. So he's 45, but he's emotionally stuck there at 4. There's no shame in that. There's no blame in that. He's doing the best he can with what he has and what he knows. So do you think I'm going to, if he says like, hey, I want to work with you, I'm going to work with a 45-year-old man? No, I'm working with a 4-year-old boy. I'm going to hold him very tenderly and not like bark at him orders like what he needs to do. And nowadays, you don't even need a coach, to be honest. You have ChatGPT. Put all your troubles into ChatGPT and ChatGPT will tell you what to do. But ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, will never replace an empathetic person. ChatGPT will never replace a person who has done the inner work. That
Now
is
you
where
have
you
a bit
need
of
the human
knowledge.
touch.
You have a bit of knowledge speaking about AI. You've actually worked in that sector, is that correct?
Yes, more than 30 years ago.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that AI is harmful to humanity?
No, 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 no. It's very good. It's no, it's not harmful at all. Not at all. Why would I say AI is harmful? As long as you know how to use something. Like, would you say wine is harmful? No, wine is not harmful. But if you drink 10 bottles in 24 hours, of course it's harmful. It's like that.
How would you personally use AI for the example you just gave with tapping into some kind of emotional blockage?
It will give you a mental understanding. Remember that 4 steps I gave you: understand, accept, forgive, and then love will naturally happen, organically happen. You don't have to do anything to love. But that AI gives you that if you know how to ask the right question, then you will get the right answer from AI. Yes, because what AI does, it scans the entire, I won't even call it a warehouse, I'll call it a mine There used to be databases, then there was warehousing, and now then there's data mining, because I come from the world of computer science, right? So it looks into the mind of all the information put out on cyberspace, and it scans it, and it comes up with the answer for you. So you get an understanding. But then if you just stay with it, then that's about it. You just have a big fat head about that. That is the problem with everything, because people are like, oh, I already know that. Okay, you already know that. What are you doing about it? Oh, that's where the work begins. Because the longest journey anyone goes on is this 18-inch journey from your head to your heart. Because to get something done, it has to happen because you feel it is right. And that feeling part is your subconscious. It is the kid who's younger than 8. And that kid has to agree with the adult, the ego, and say like, all right, let's do it. And then the work begins.
So that
When
distance
you,
between, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no,
Continue.
go ahead. It's okay. So the distance between, yes, go ahead.
That distance between your mind and your heart, I guess that's your intuition. Would you say that's, I guess,
No,
accurate?
no, it's an inner journey. It's the inner journey you go on. To go high, you have to go deep. Like I talked about the building. You want to build a 10-story building, the foundation should be 5 stories.
How does someone start to tap into their intuition? They just got onto this path of, let's say, spiritual awakening, and they've been hearing this term intuition. What's something that someone can do to start feeling and tapping in? Would it be maybe that first thought that comes into your mind when you ask yourself a question?
In less than 3 seconds, the answer will come to you. Anything more longer than 3 seconds, if it is 3 seconds, you are thinking about it. So I know a lot of people in the West, they do hallucinogenic drugs, shrooms and ayahuasca, and, they have their awakening and all of that. But is it sustainable? You get a glimpse of who you are because you bypassed your critical mind, and you're not afraid of the snake, and you're not afraid of the tiger, and the tiger is not afraid of you, and the snake is not afraid of you. You experience that oneness. That's all we are looking for. I used word like love and peace. We are not looking for love and peace. Let that go. We are looking for oneness. I don't want to miss
Interesting.
the thing. Yeah. Think about it, Senflo. What are we looking for? We are looking for oneness. And when we have those experiences, like the shamans did, like in Hawaii, we have kava ceremonies. People do cacao ceremonies. What is all of this? Everything is to bypass the critical mind and dive deep into that ocean, like that huge sperm whale that goes and sleeps vertically for 40 minutes, How does it do that? All the water is flowing around, but it is so, that's what deep meditation is. In Buddhism, we call it the jhanas. In the Yoga Sutra, like people do yoga and they talk about Ashtanga yoga or 8 limbs, but they're only doing yogasanas. They're only doing the postures. They are not doing yama. They are not doing niyama. They are not doing pratyahara. They are not doing pranayama. They are not. They're just doing asana. Asana is just 1/8 of yoga. And then comes dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Samadhi is that ultimate state, to be in that bliss. And when you have experienced that, but when you're doing these drugs, all this, it's like a bypass. And people go and they'll go to Costa Rica and they'll do an ayahuasca ceremony for 3 days and they're looking for that billion-dollar idea. Good. But what happens after all of that is gone, after you have come out of that effect? Where is your billion-dollar idea? Now, if you have a backing, you have a trust fund, you have a sugar daddy, you have a sugar mama, you can go with it, but you need to be supported in this 3 dimension. Flights to 5th dimension and 12th dimension is good. That's all fantasy. But then you return to reality, which is in this 3rd dimension. You have to work with a shaman up close and personal, intimately, on a daily basis initially, and then on a weekly basis. And that's why, like I have done in the past, gone for like 10-day retreats, 3-month retreats, 6-month retreats, and just go and stay in a monastery and just stay over there and, chop water, chop wood and carry water, do it before, do it during, do it after. And then you become that, you really become that which you're seeking. You become one with who you are, your shadow, your light. You become one with everything. And then you give yourself permission to love. When we talk about vulnerability, what does it mean? I love you, but you don't have to love me. But if you don't love me, oh, I said I love you to Senflo, and Senflo doesn't love me, now I don't love him anymore. That was love with an agenda. That wasn't from an overflow. Make sense?
Yes, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. I can agree. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, I guess sometimes it can be a bit foggy for us to have this certain state of mind of going within and doing this the proper way and taking the time to craft what we're trying to, I guess, accomplish, right? Let's say someone wants to get into yoga, but they keep it very base level. A lot of us, it stems from lack mentality, right? It goes back to, but I don't really have the money to be wasting time doing that. I need to be working. I need to do that. So, how can someone tap out of the money matrix and into finding that necessary time to go within and explore something like yoga?
Love. Honey, you have to love yourself. You have to say, I have one life. And I don't know which days, how do you live your life? One day at a time. And you don't know which day is your last day. You don't know which breath is your last breath. You have to commit to doing this for yourself. And you can get started with, like, you say you don't have enough time. Everybody, we know this, has 24 hours in a day. We are scrolling on social media. Take 5 minutes away from scrolling and chant your chant. Take 5 minutes away from social media and go for that walk. What is the hardest thing about walking? Is tying your shoes and getting out of your house. What is the hardest thing about yoga? Getting on that mat. What is the hardest thing about singing? Opening your mouth and letting that sound flow through you. Now, what is the hardest thing about painting? Picking up the brush. What is the hardest thing about writing? Sitting down, getting your ass on the chair and picking up the pen, or getting on your keyboard and start typing. You have to love yourself enough to begin. And once you begin, commit to continuing. And will struggles come? Absolutely. Will obstacles come? Absolutely. But that is why you go to the gym, right? To grow stronger, not because you want to be in pain. Nobody wants to be in pain. If anybody wanted to be, nobody would go. But you go there because you know that when you work out for an hour, it's a discipline, number one. And when you work out for an hour, you're still burning calories and growing stronger when you're not in the gym. There's the same thing about meditation. Go to
So
your
let's,
closest Buddhist. Okay, go ahead.
no, please continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, I was going to
You
give an
have a
example of meditation,
you have a
find out
beautiful
your
train of thought.
close.
I don't want to stop it.
I mean, go to, but I told you even last week when we spoke that I can go off and you have to bring me back
This stage
because,
is yours.
okay, thank you. But like meditation, yes, everybody wants guided meditation, but find out a meditation teacher close to you. It could be someone who does yogic meditation, someone, a Buddhist meditation, you know, go tell the teacher, I've come to learn how to meditate. I have no clue. Don't say like, oh, I did this meditation in the past and I did that in the past. And what can you tell me about it? Don't go with any of that. Just tell them, I don't know anything. Teach me, help me. And they will meet you and know how honest you are and will tell you to get started. They will show you how to get started. And it's on you to stay in touch with your teacher and go there whenever they have their public meditations, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. Go do it. And don't just do it when you are there. That is classwork. Homework is you have to do it every day at home too. And trust me, you will cry. You'll feel wretched. You'll feel like, man, all I wanted to do was meditate and I feel terrible about myself. That's part of the unraveling process. And that's why you work with the teacher. And a year later, look at yourself. 10 years later, look at yourself. 20 years later, look at yourself. I see people who do drugs. Okay. I'm in Southern California. I've lived here for more than 20 years now. And they look old and decrepit, but they had that instant experience of God, of that oneness. And then you see the guy who says, like, I'm not going to smoke. I'm going to meditate. 40 years later, they look 40 years younger. And the guy who has been doing drugs for 40 years looks like any moment he'll drop in dead. And he has no respect in society. The one
If a
who has been
person,
meditating dutifully, with patience, with diligence, when you look at their face, they look so young.
we all hear this meditation word. Everyone has at least tried it, right? For the most part. Why is it so important? What is a person looking to do during meditation?
To remember who they are.
You'll need to expand.
Because think about it. When you're angry and you try to meditate, what are you meditating on? Your anger. If you're sad and you sit to meditate, what are you meditating on? Your sorrow. But if you sit to meditate with no agenda, it is only to remember who you are. The Zen practice, there are many Zen practices. One of them is Zazen, because this is something I do. Okay. It is you sit as if you are the awakened one. Don't sit for anything. Just sit to remember that you are the awakened one. Just to remember, because throughout the day, you're the husband, you're the wife, you're the son, you're the daughter, you're the mother, you're the father, you're an employee, you're a client, you're a vendor, you're a social media creator, digital creator, you're all of that. And all the time you forget who you are. But when you get to your cushion, you remember who you are. It's just like working out. You remember who you are. So when you're doing all these other things, distracted in this 3D, who is doing all those things? The one who remembers who they are.
I do my best to meditate in the mornings. And
Mhm.
the reason that I find myself meditating is because I set an intention to gain clarity on a question that I have in regards
Mhm.
to how to proceed with a certain event or what path to take from the paths that I've laid out. And so I'm
Mhm.
able to tap into the server base of knowledge where ideas come. So I make sure I have a pen and paper. Now,
Mhm.
I used to practice meditation years before I even had anything of an idea. I was trying to find clarity or trying to tap into God or whatnot, and it was always a bit unsuccessful. I would play music or I would just sit still. Would you choose action over meditation? Because there was a point in time when I relied on meditation versus literally getting my ass up and taking action towards doing something and manifesting something with the powers that I had. But yet I kind of went within trying to find something that when I was trying to go within, I found out that it was actually something outside of me.
The law of creation is be, do, have. So you want to have something, you do something about it. And when you do that thing, you get what you are working towards. Maybe you get all of it, you get a little bit of it, you get more than what you are working towards, right? But that is temporary. Who are you being? It's a struggle. How many times have you heard people say like, oh, I made $1 million and I was 21 years old and I lost everything. And I did this again and I lost everything. And I did this again and everything went away. Because I got bored, I got tired, and what's the common word? Burnout. I experienced burnout. Okay. And people later on in their lives, they talk about burnout. Any kid younger than 28 doesn't say that. They're like, no, it was good, but and then I did something else. I got bored. Younger kids younger than 28 say they are bored. Between 28 and 58, they said there's a burnout. Okay. Because they don't know who they are being. They're playing the chase game. You're chasing something. But who are you being when you're doing what you're doing? Then, when you have what you have, you can experience it to the utmost and leave it behind and share it with everyone. Those you know, those you don't know, because that's your legacy,
For
who
someone
you
who
are
has
being.
tried, I apologize once again.
No,
Continue,
no, no,
ma'am.
no, go ahead. No, no, go
No,
ahead. Go
please,
ahead.
please. The stage is yours. I just wanna.
No, no, no. The
Sometimes I'm
question
not
was
sure
right.
when the train of thought was done. I'm not sure when the train of thought is done, so I apologize. I just have to
No, that's
allow
okay.
the, you
Mhm.
know, the quietness to settle down a bit more. So for someone that has tried meditation and
Mhm,
they at this point have just given up because it's just woo-woo, okay, it's just not for me. Let's set the stage for them, right? Let's
mhm,
allow them the opportunity to tap into meditation and to, I guess, quote unquote, do it correctly. So let's set the stage for them, right? Where they sit down or they
mhm,
plan out the night before if they're going to meditate in the morning. Let's start
mhm,
there. They plan
mhm,
it out and they set
mhm,
themselves a nice cozy
mhm,
place. What do they do?
mhm. Start with 60 seconds, only 60 seconds. And if you want, Sunflow, let's do 60 seconds. Can you do 60 seconds with me?
I have all the
I'll
time
take
for
you
you.
through it. Okay, let's do it. Okay. So drop your paper, drop your pen, drop everything that you have. And if you're driving, my friend, don't do it when you're driving. Okay. You need to pull over, pause this recording, pull over, and then do this. And then you can drive again. So 60 seconds. And I'm not watching the clock, but I will take you through it. So go through a deep exhale. In fact, I will put my timer on over here so I can see 60 seconds. Let me do this. How do I do this? More, 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 more. No, I can't do it. Okay. Here, let me do something else. So bear with me.
Take your time.
Timer. Yeah, timer stop. Okay. Because I wish I had my cell phone here, but I did not bring my cell phone into this space. Okay. Okay. So you're ready? We'll do
Yes, ma'am.
this. Okay. Deep exhale. Just empty yourself. You have to empty yourself. No ego, no attachments. You're not a man, not a woman, not a father, not a brother, nobody. Just empty yourself. And now breathe. Breathe into your chest. Release, relax, let go. Breathe into your abdomen and your back. Relax, release, let go. Breathe into your hips, your thighs, your legs, your feet. Release, relax, let go. Breathe into your neck and your throat, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, fingertips. Release, relax, let go. Breathe into your face, the back of your head, and the top of your head. Let go. How do you feel?
You're wonderful.
60 seconds.
So what would
That's
it
it.
what would be what would be the utility for a person who is in constant stress? So they wake up with this anxiety upon them. Is this a simple tool to just align them for hopefully the rest of the day?
No, it is only for 60 minutes. Think about it. You have a salad, because in America and the West, people don't like to cook vegetables, they have salads. Okay, I'm having a salad, and that's a healthy thing. So you eat a salad yesterday and you will eat a salad tomorrow, and is that good enough for you to be healthy? No, you eat a salad every day if that's the way you get your vegetables in. You can't say like, oh, I went to work yesterday and I'll go to work tomorrow and today I won't work. No, you work every day. You can't say, oh, I had water yesterday and I'll drink some water tomorrow. Today I don't need to drink water. No. Oh, I brushed my teeth yesterday. I'll brush my teeth tomorrow. Today I don't need to brush my teeth. No. If you want to have peace in your life and honor yourself, you have to remember who you are. And the only way to remember is when you sit with yourself. The hardest thing you will do is ever sit with yourself. On this Delphi, what's written? Know thyself. Why know thyself? So you can love thyself. You can't love you and you want someone else to love you so you feel complete. Hell is that? Love yourself so others can love you. Make this vessel that you are a loving vessel so love can flow in and you can contain the love that flows in and share the overflow with the world. So 60 seconds, if you can do that for the next hour, you will have bliss. So every hour, if you have the timer go off, beep, 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 just sit for 60 seconds. But you'll be like, yeah, it's so hard and I don't make it so hard. So I'll tell you, as a hypnotherapist, I'll tell you, do the 60 seconds when you go to sleep. And your sleep time will be peaceful. And then you wake up and you do 60 seconds before you put your feet down because your brain is in a theta state anyway. And then go to the bathroom. Then go have your coffee. And then you have to drive to work. Let's say you have to drive to work. Get into your car, adjust your, rear view mirror and your seat and your everything. Don't start the engine. 60 seconds, breathe. And then drive. And then you arrive somewhere and you're like, okay, but I'm late. So you're late. You're late for 5 minutes. Now you'll be late for 6 minutes. Big deal. No one will notice. Breathe for a minute and then get out of your car and go wherever you want to. And then you come back, get into your car again. 60 seconds, breathe before you drive again. And wherever you arrive, 60 seconds, and then get out of your car. You eat some food, 60 seconds, breathe, and then eat your food. You drink your coffee, 60 seconds, and then have your coffee. Why do people smoke? When it was fashionable to smoke a cigarette, why? Because they wanted to cut the crap and just breathe. But they were breathing in tobacco and nicotine
Mhm.
and all that sugar. But that's what people do. Then you come back, you go to shower, you turn off the shower. After you turn off the shower, 60 seconds, breathe, and then step out of the shower. You want to you're brushing your teeth. You're done brushing. Breathe for 60 seconds. Then leave the washroom or your sink. You're going to bed, 60 seconds, and then put your head on the pillow. It's that simple. You have to love yourself for 60 seconds. Sitting with yourself is the hardest thing you will ever do. But it is possible. You can do it. So do it because you love you and you want to remember who you are.
I
And
think
think
it's a
of the word.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Go ahead, please. As always,
No, and
continue.
no, and think of the word remember. Remember. What is this member? It's the membrane. The membrane is what holds two cells together next to each other. And what is that? It's plasma. It's a plasma membrane, or cellular membrane is made out of plasma. You know what else is made out of plasma? The sun. We are all stardust. We all come from the sun. Everything you eat has its source in the sun. The earth came from the sun. The carrot, the beet, the wine, the chicken, whatever, the potato, whatever you eat came from the sun. The chicken ate some bugs. The bugs are in the dirt. The dirt is the earth. The earth came from the sun. Without sun, no carrot will grow. Without sun, no banana will grow. Without sun, there'll be no wheat, no rice. Everything came from the sun. Plasma. And plasma is the membrane that keeps the two cells together in your body. So you remember who you are. And your shadows will show up and your thoughts will show up. So don't try to do for too long. Do 60 seconds. Get started with that, and then we'll talk again. Or call me and I will take you through more.
Yeah, I think you gave us enough sauce, right? That's good to get started. So
Mhm,
60 seconds.
mhm,
When speaking about meditation on like let's say we're taking it to the next level, right?
mhm,
So someone
mhm,
has somewhat mastered the 60 seconds and they're ready to really take it to the next level, maybe move it to 5, 10, 15 minutes now of stillness. What would you say is the best way, or maybe an effective way,
mhm,
to clear the random thoughts that come in your head? Besides analyzing,
mm.
of course.
You know, when the random thoughts come, you can watch them because they are only
Hmm.
asking for your attention. And the moment you watch them and don't run with them, they will dissolve. Think about this, okay? Let's say you're standing at a street corner and I told you, hey, Senflo, meet me at that corner and I'll pick you up. And you're like, oh, okay. So you're waiting at a street corner, right? Because Keya is going to drive by and pick you up, okay? And you're standing in the corner and I said, let's say at 6 o'clock, I'll meet you, and you arrive at 5:55 because you know that street corner people shouldn't be stopping, right? But so you arrive at 5:55, you're eager to meet me, and then you're watching a Honda go by and you're like, that's a Honda. And then you will watch a Chevy go by and say, that's a Chevy. And then you see a Ferrari go by and say, oh my God, that's a Ferrari. I'm going to jump on that Ferrari and go flippity flop with the Ferrari. You mean, like, that's a Ferrari going by, right? And then that's the Lexus going by. So thoughts are like that. You're standing in a street corner and the thoughts are going by. You just notice them and they go by. But if you jump on one of the thoughts, now the thought is carrying you around. And you're going like, now the thought is in charge and you're not in charge anymore, because guess what thoughts do? They bring up memories, and memories have a charge, either a pleasurable or a painful, either a positive charge or a negative charge. And suddenly, you know, that emotion is running your life, and oh, I should have said this, and oh, I need to pay my taxes, oh, I need to do the dishes, oh, I forgot if I turned on the off the light or not, no, where is the key of my car? All these random thoughts are showing up while you're at the street corner. You don't go with any car. You just wait till it's 6 o'clock. So 5:55 to 6 o'clock, you can stand at the street corner and meditate, and then wait to be picked up at 6 o'clock by Keya. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful.
It's a five
You
minute
know,
meditation.
yeah, the the thing that I find helps me the most before getting into meditation
Mhm,
is I go outside into the grass and I have a
mm,
tree, right? I have my tree. And I
mhm,
go barefoot outside and I just hug my tree. This is just my
mm,
routine. I don't care if the neighbors see
mm,
me, they know I just hug my tree, right? But the beauty that I find with that, and the reason why I continue to do it over and over, whether the tree is there or not, is that first thing in the morning, sometimes my thoughts are just racing, random thoughts racing. And on top of that, I'm trying to recall my dreams because they may be trying to give me some information, all these thoughts. But when I find myself going outside barefoot and just giving myself the 60-second meditation there of the breath exercise and then going to sit down, it's night and day difference in regards to the amount of thoughts that come in. Now you've created some kind of filter. So it's a lot easier to look at less cars and decide which one you want to hop onto, you know? So now what I've been integrating is muDRas, right? So I don't really understand muDRas. Now I can understand the science behind it, right? Because we are a circuitry system, right? So we're just connecting a certain circuitry system within us. Speak a bit about muDRas, their benefits, what are they, and how they can benefit us through meditation.
First, I'll teach you how to pronounce the word. It's not mudra, it's mudra. The is a soft the. Say mudra.
Mudra.
Say it. Mudra.
Mudra.
Mudra. Yes, mudra. Thank you. When the Westerners say like, oh, I can't say that's too complicated. I'm like, how do you pronounce T-H-E? The, right? T-H-E is the, right? You can't say the. You don't say duh. You say the. So add the mu to it and you say mud ra. Mud ra. That's how simple it is. Okay. So that's the first thing. Now this is what, okay. It's a loaded question. So I'll tell you what it is. And you do what you want with it. So a mudra is like closing a circuit. Now we have in our body what is called as nadis. And a nadi is an extremely subtle flow within you. If you go to the Mississippi River, can you separate the river from the water? No. The water is the river and the river is the water. You go to the ocean. Can you separate the ocean from the water and the water from the ocean? No. Even if you take the water away, the ocean is still the ocean. Like that. You take. So it is so subtle that is inseparable from you, the nadi. Okay. And the English word for the nadi is a meridian. And people say, oh, yeah, I know the meridian, the Chinese thing. It's not a Chinese thing, it's in your body. Meridian. So a meridian is actually the electromagnetic field around each nerve of your body. Now, where two nerves intersect, you have an energy center. The human body has 114 energy centers, 108 of which are inside your body. And now with your hand, because all the nerves of your body end in three places, your hands, your feet, and your ears. So in Chinese medicine, this is very important. Your ears, they can poke needles into your ears and heal your kidney and liver and all that kind of stuff, get the energy that is stuck to get it to flow. So when you're doing the mudras, you do the mudras with your hands. And when you're touching different parts, there are mantras, like when I do them with the right mantra. And so basically what's happening is you're evoking the light within you. You're not invoking. Because when you go to a temple, you go to a church and you pray, dear God, our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, or whatever, Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha, or Om Namah Shivaya, or whatever, Ya Allah, or whatever we say, Allahu Akbar, whatever we say, that's all external because you're invoking. Like even in the Native Americans, like, when I do my Hawaiian chants and all of them, the Hebrew chants, it's like you're calling the forces from out there to come here to your ceremony. But when you're working with the sacred verses and the sacred chants, you're evoking it within you. So if you can think of a Christmas light, a string of lights inside your body, and you say the mantra once, then the light at each energy center got lit up to the power of 1 by 108. And when you do the mantra 108 times, all the lights are lit within you to the power of 1. If you do 54, then they're to the power of half. If you do 27, they are to the power of a quarter, 1 by 4. If you do 9, they are to the power of 1 by 12. So what you're doing is, because we are all light, we are all beings of light, and light is a very interesting word. Light is the opposite of heavy. Light is the opposite of darkness. So when you're doing the mudras and you are chanting the right chant to go with each mudra, then you're lighting up the circuit within you to that potential. Because when you say Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha, it's a certain frequency. When you say Om Namah Shivaya, that's another frequency. When you say Om Shring Shriye Namaha, it's another frequency. When you say Om Klim Krishnaya Namaha, that's another frequency. So it's like having the same circuit, the same string of Christmas lights, but sometimes it is glowing white, sometimes it is blue, sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's red, depending on which mantra you're chanting with each mudra. Does any of this make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Thank you. You know, okay, this is phase 1. This is kindergarten today. It's only finger painting. Okay. Next conversation will go into coloring within the lines.
Which mudra would you recommend for the beginner? Mudra.
Mudra. Chin mudra. Chin mudra.
Chin mudra.
The sound is chin, like your chin, chin, chin. Yeah, the chin in your face. And I'll tell you who does this mudra. Rafiki. If you watch Simba, and Rafiki sits in chin mudra. So your forefinger is touching the tip of your forefinger is touching the tip of your thumb. And the other 3 fingers are out open. And your palm is facing up. And you're sitting in lotus posture. And if you can't sit in lotus posture, you're sitting in a chair. But the back of your hand is on your knee. That is chin mudra. It brings you calmness right away. If you're not driving, try it. Just keep your hands on your knee facing upwards. Then bring your forefinger and touch your thumb. And close your eyes, sit straight and breathe. And breathe with me. Breathe for a minute. Or take 4 breaths at your own pace and release, relax, let go. And after a minute, tell me, how does it feel?
Well, I can't say that I feel more relaxed. Your voice itself is relaxing enough, but I would say that I'll definitely give it a try tomorrow morning. I find myself doing, I believe it's called the Dhyana mudra. Is that correct, the pronunciation? The
Okay, whatever
Dhyana, I
your teacher
believe.
taught. Okay, whatever your teacher taught you is good.
Okay. No, well, I've just done my research and I just play around with mudras, but that one, for whatever reason, I like. Maybe it's because it's just a comfortable one, right? I've tried different ones where they're kind of like, okay, well, this is going to take practice, kind of like yoga for my fingers.
Dhyana mudra, I'll tell you how it is. You take your right palm and place it on top of your left palm and have both your thumbs touching each other. Is that the mudra you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
That is Dhyana mudra. When you see the statue of Buddha, you will see that. That's one of the forms that you might see. Dhyana mudra. And Dhyana mudra, like I told you in Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, there's the Ashtanga Yoga. So there's the 8 limbs, and Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi are the last 3. Okay. So the first 5 you put in your effort, and the last 3 happen through grace. It happens through the spirit, the higher self, the Holy Spirit, the power be all, manifesting through you. Okay. And so you're putting in the effort, because this is it brings tranquility, it brings focus, it makes you open to receptivity. Because think about it, like the word karate. It's not karate. It's not karate kid. It's karate. That's the Japanese word. Karate. Karate means what? Empty hands or open hands. Beginner's mind. Okay. So when the student goes to the teacher, to the master, and says, Master, I have come to learn karate from you. The master says, okay, what have you brought? My open hands. And this kid, through dedication and devotion and effort and discipline and guidance and support and accountability from the teacher, one day becomes the grand master, the 10th degree black belt. What does he still have? Karate, a beginner's mind. So dhyana mudra, when you sit with that, you get that receptivity. You open yourself to whatever the universe has in store for you today. So whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's ugly, you can deal with it because you sat in dhyan with dhyana mudra.
I certainly resonate with that. I believe that's why I am called to it, right? I feel that that provides me with the utility within the meditation itself. I wanted to kind of get into yoga. You had mentioned yoga. Would yoga be considered the entire body mudra? Mudra.
Only the asana, the yogasana, you're just talking the yogasana, just like the poses to make your body twist like a pretzel. Is that the yoga you're talking about, or the
Well, I guess
entire?
let's express it. Let's speak on it all. So the yoga that I'm thinking of, and I guess the majority of people think
Mhm.
of, is
Yogasanas.
the
Mhm.
okay.
Yogasanas. The exercise part. That's only the asana. Asana just means your posture or the seat where you're seated. Yeah. So what's your question? I forgot. I'm sorry, I got excited.
No, it's okay. Actually, maybe it wasn't loaded enough for you, right?
Yeah.
But what utility does yoga bring to you? Like, let's say the poses themselves, and how does it expand from being not just a pose? The name itself, yoga, I guess maybe the only thing I correlate with yoga is the stillness in the positions.
Okay. I don't know if you asked for it, but I'm going to give you a little bit. Okay. So just yogasana is when you do it and you perfect it. I mean, like the first day you go to do yoga in your life, you're going to cry. You're going to cry like heck because all the knots that have been tied will open up, that you have been holding on to your emotions, like your hip flexors, You're going to cry like anything because, yeah, it's all solidified emotions, and now it's just going to start flowing through you. So 3 ways to heal is salt, sweat, and the sea. 3 S's, okay? Your emotions flow. There's no one on the sun who will say like, oh, I go to the sea and I feel terrible. No, you feel amazing, okay? You're feeling terrible. It's because the terrible things that you have been holding on to are coming to the surface, okay? So when you do yogasana and you keep doing it, what happens is, like, and I was talking about those nadis and I was talking about those chi centers, you can call them chi centers or energy centers. Any blockages that you have, they open up. So your body gets, so because all this ease comes from blockages, okay? Because your emotion, your energy is supposed to be in motion. And if it is not, if your energy is not in motion, it's blocking, it's hurting you. And you have aches and pains and you have diseases, your relationship is not working, your finances is not working, your work situation is not working. It's because energy is not flowing, right? It's not in motion. Your emotions are not in the flow. So when you do yoga, what happens? These energy blockets, they just pop open. Okay, so tears is the initial thing you feel, but after you're done with all the crying and all of that, you don't cry every time unless if you're doing it on a new moon. Like yesterday, I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, and I'm like, things are flowing through me, and then you can sit and do the dharana and the dhyana and attain the samadhi. So 20 minutes. So if you do, let's say you have, I don't know, if you have 30 minutes in a day, let's say you have 30 minutes in a day, find 30 minutes in a day for yourself. But because 90 minutes would be ideal, okay? 90 minutes would be optimum because we are not sitting in a monastery. And even in a monastery, you have to cook and clean and chop the wood and carry water. So at a time you sit for 90 minutes. Okay. On special occasions, you can sit for 4 hours. That's a different thing. Okay. But let's say for 90 minutes. So 30 minutes, you move your body, do your yoga asanas. Okay. And every day you don't do the same thing. Different days you do different things because there are more than 80 postures or 84 postures. There are many more, but 84 is like taught to yoga teachers. And you do your own vinyasa, your own flow, the sequence of yogas that you want to do it for 30 minutes. And then you sit, and if you like to chant, because I love to chant, okay, you can chant, or you can read some scriptures, or do your contemplation, whatever you like to introspect, how do I make my next $1 million? You can do all of that, how can I have a better conversation with my wife? How can I come up with this $10,000 for my kids' camping trip, sending them surfing, whatever you feel like doing, this worldly things you can do, okay? Chanting, contemplation, journaling, introspection. So now you have cleared out your body, emptied your mind, and you get into the state. Then the next 30 minutes, you sit with the dhyana mudra in this lotus posture and set the timer on. And if you have a bell, those crystal bell or brass bell or something, or a gong, beat it, so the frequency comes out, and it's a healing frequency. And different bells, bowls, they have different frequencies. Some are for the heart, some are for the throats, whatever, let it fill up your space. And then if you feel like you can say Om, you don't have to say Om. And you just sit. And I promise you, if you do 90 minutes for yourself, at least once a week, like on a Saturday, okay, tomorrow is a Saturday, sit with yourself for 90 minutes and do this. For at least 3 seconds, you will have samadhi. You will have that oneness. You will know that you are the creator of your reality. In Rig Veda, the oldest written book, I think 14th chapter, 64th verse, it says, Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the creator. And loosely translated means I am God. So what does it mean? I am the creator of my reality. So for 3 seconds, in 7 days, if you could experience your God nature, your true nature, and you really remember who you are, do you think anyone is going to ever mess with you? No. And then you can stretch it to 6 seconds. And you do this. If you do this every day, then you can even experience it for 6 seconds, and then 16 seconds, and then 60 seconds. Don't you think that you deserve to, at least for 60 seconds, know who you truly are and realize that everything is an illusion? So why not have fun? Why not have joy? Why not have love? Why not have peace? It's possible. It's truly possible. And people who have been meditating for 40 years, they look like they have not aged a single day. It's because of that. They know who they are. No one messes with them.
Do you think it's a hindrance to not know the language, I guess the Hindi language, for example? Is it a hindrance to say these chants and mantras in English?
Yes, because English is not a root language. You can say them in Latin, Because Latin is a channeled language. You can say them in Hebrew, because Hebrew is a channeled language. But you try saying them in English. English is a language of commerce. English isn't even a romantic language. It's not even the language of love. You know?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
were having a
Yes.
discussion previously about old souls, right? How people can be considered old souls. What does that
Mhm.
mean?
That means they have been a human in many lives.
Does it provide any benefit directly to a person? Let's say if
Yes,
I wasn't.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you are an old soul, you have the maturity of an old soul. A young soul will be like a baboon, you know? You know, let's say in the previous life, they were a dog and they lived in the walls of a monastery. So next lifetime, and the dog was a very nice dog. And the next lifetime, oh, they become a human, you know? But they'll still have a little bit of dog qualities. Okay, dog is a very nice creature. I love dogs. But someone was a snake, okay? And suddenly they become a human. They'll act like a snake. And you'll see there are people who talk too much, you know, they'll be acting like a parrot, you know. There'll be people like a donkey who'll be always kicking, you know, making those braying noises and kicking you. So when okay, and it's a gift and you can call it a curse. Because when I see a person, I can see their true nature. And you can do this. Anyone can do this. When you sit with someone, knee to knee, your knee touching their knee, and you hold their hand and they hold your hand, and you just look into their eyes and don't do anything. Just look, 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 look. And all because the eyes are the windows to the soul. You can see all their lives flash in front of you.
I actually experienced this with my wife, and I was able to
Mm-hmm.
see the resemblance of her, but also resemblances of other life forms. Uh, it was quite the experience. Would there be any
Now,
benefit for us to attempt to tap? Go ahead, please.
and that is why you meditate, so you remember who you are. And and just knowing isn't good enough, Senflo. You have to own it. And when you own it, you are it. That's it. No one doubts you. Oh, tell me more. Those people don't show up in your life.
What about karma? So, how does karma play a part in our daily lives? Like, how do we know if we're if we're paying back a karmic debt from something that has nothing to do with us? It was a past life, let's just say.
It's still to do with us, even if it's your past life. It's your past life. It's not my past life. It's your past life. Yes, you have to do with it.
It's a
It
bit
is. It
difficult to
has to.
distinguish the two, right? Because I mean, at least for me personally, just speaking from my viewpoint, it's like this is the only thing I know. I understand that there's this and that and the other, and I have maybe felt like I tapped into something outside of this and something greater than me. But at the end of the day, this is all I know. This right now, me and the human flesh. And yes, I have those 60
I'm
seconds
going
that I might
to.
be able.
I'm going to get a ticket tomorrow and fly all the way over to you and come to your door and knock and slap you on your face. I'm really
Oh
going to do
no.
that. Yes, just think about what you just now said. Think about what and I know you are not saying this from, you're just asking this question on behalf of all our listeners over here.
Yeah.
I know that. But think about it. You just now said how you sat with your wife and you had glimpses of all her lifetimes and all who she is. But this lifetime, you know, on that certificate, on the passport and date of birth and all of that has a mother's maiden name and driver's license and social security number and wife of and all of that is there and mother of and all of that is there. But you have actually witnessed who your wife is, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you stand in front of the mirror and just look at your eyes? Yes, you will cry. I promise you, you will cry. But I want you to look into the mirror and look into your eyes every day when you wake up in the morning. After you do your 60 seconds in bed and you go to the mirror, and don't turn on the light. Please don't turn on the light. Learn to walk in your own house without light. Go to the mirror and look at your eyes. You will start remembering who you are. and no one will mess with you. And yes, you will see that you have stuff from the past. Your shadows will also show up, and you have to love your shadows, because you cannot like blame and shame your shadows, because this is part of the duality of this three-dimensional world. We have light, we have shadow. When the sun goes bye-bye, we have shadow. And when the sun shows up, we have light. So yeah.
I love mirror therapy. I love staring in the mirror. Yeah, of course, it didn't start out that way. It was one of the worst things I can experience. Like you said, I would
Uh-huh.
cry, right? Because I didn't believe what I was saying, right? I would say I love you, and I didn't believe myself. And it got worse and worse until it got beautiful. And now I love looking in the
Yes.
mirror. I love, spontaneously seeing myself in the mirror. I'm like, hey. So that's beautiful. But I have to say that I don't think, and I've stared in the mirror for a long amount of time, right? But I don't think that I've ever been able to tap into seeing other versions of myself, as you say. Now, it could be because of the time of the day, right? I usually do it in the daytime.
Oh,
But
no, 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 no.
yeah,
To remember
exactly,
who
yeah.
you are, you do it in that theta state. You have to do it in the theta state. And you have to be, see, your unconscious is also protecting you. It's like those people who pay for healing and then they come, they lie on the table and suddenly they're like, no, don't touch me. No, I don't want it. And you have to give them the money back. So they're not ready for it. It's the same thing. Like this lady yesterday who like took like more than 2.5 hours of my time. And even this morning, she has been texting me. And then in the end, I had to ignore all her texts. And I have lots of unread texts from her because I don't want to deal with it. I told her, I'm, I stopped giving you my money, my time and my energy. So it's there. Okay. So it's like the same thing. You want to know who you are, but you're afraid, I don't know what I'll find out. So that openness, right? You sit in dhyana mudra, and you don't have to go to a mirror. You don't have to go to a mirror. And you can just sit with yourself, and the 3 seconds of samadhi that you have, which is also beautiful. Or you sit for 20 minutes, you have 2 minutes of samadhi, or 2 seconds of samadhi. 2 seconds, heck, get started with 2 seconds, and then things you don't need to know, just surrender. It's called tapas, just give it up to the fire. Just let it go, the fire. Sweat lodge, people go to sweat lodges. Why do they go to sweat in the sweat lodge? Let it go. We don't need to know all our shadows. So anyway, lurking in the dark, just let it go, dissolve it, because no, you are light. Don't just think of it in your head and feel it in your heart. You have to own it. Own it. I am the light. And your light and your life will become light. No heaviness, no darkness. Isn't it interesting how one word is the opposite of two words? Heaviness and darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you said the lightness because yes, I just never thought of the two things that it meant, right? So lightness can do with weight and also, the opposite of darkness. It's obvious now, but I've just never heard them together in a sentence, and it's funny how light can encompass both of those.
Mhm.
My thing is, let's just say that someone's resonating with what we're speaking about, right? They're like, yes, this sounds beautiful, and I'm willing to try it, and they go on the journey of trying it. But at the end of the day, once they do what they need to do to clear their minds,
Mhm.
they have to check back into the matrix and say, I got to get back
Mhm.
to the grind. So, what does this all matter? Yes, this all sounds beautiful and the potentials of this and that and the self discovery and love thyself. But self love doesn't pay the bills.
It does. Honey, isn't
Explain.
that what I said? Be, do, have. Who are you being? I am a loving being. And from this place of being this loving being, or I am the sovereign being, or I'm the warrior being, who are you being? I'm the funny being, like when you're hanging out with your child. Yes, you're his protector. Yes, you're his provider. But you could also like chill a little bit and be his friend and be like the other dude that he has fun with, and like not always, So who are you being? Yes. So when you are that loving being, when you are that Aham Brahmasmi, when you are the creator of your reality, everything you touch turns into gold because you own your shit. You own your shadows. You own your light. And that is the oneness. Oneness doesn't mean running away from your shadows and embracing your light. You cannot embrace your light unless you own your shadows. Yes. So why this distinction? Why the separation? It's all one anyway. Yeah, if you eat, you have to poop. If you drink, you have to pee. If you sleep, you have to wake up. And after you do your workout, you will sweat and you have to shower. Everything is like the whole thing is don't focus on your goals so hard that you miss out on your next step and you bump and you bruise and you fall and you trip. No, you trip and you fall. No, you have to focus on what's happening now. But while you are doing what you're doing now, don't forget who you are. Remember, Aham Brahmasmi. I am the creator of my reality. I choose to create my reality. The grind, like you said, yes, it's the grind. Yeah, but does it have to be the grind? And if it is a grind, can it still be an easy, effortless grind? Like one of the philosophies of yoga, you call it Sahaj Yoga. And yoga means nothing else but union. It's the union of the heart and the spirit, the mind and the soul, the whatever, yog, the body and the mind. Yog means union. There are many meanings of yog, but the common one means union. And so when you are doing that, whatever is, it can be effortless. So Sahaj Yoga means effortless living in union. It doesn't have to be the grind. It can, whatever you choose to do, okay, you can do it as a grind or you can do it effortlessly. It's your choice.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. Now, I
Mhm,
have been in contact with numerous people who would say that sounds nice, but it ain't what it is. It's so interesting to try to have a conversation about being in order to see, right? Smile at the mirror before the mirror
mhm,
can smile back. It's not possible for the mirror to smile at you if you don't smile first. Put in the effort
mhm,
to see the change and touch things into gold. Attempt it first, and you shall see. Another
mhm,
conversation that I have with people in regards to like spirituality and religion, right? I speak
mhm,
to certain individuals who maybe they conflate the two, where religion is spirituality and vice versa, and we go on in discussion in regards to what God is, and here I am, I find myself now trying to defend God, which that was like, it's over and over the same kind of scenario. I guess what a good question, right? Which is kind of like the cheap way out. It's kind of like a kindergarten question. And I'll ask you the question because honestly, when I was recently asked this question, I gave the typical question, right? I gave the typical answer that maybe hopefully you don't give, right? But if God exists, right? Of course, God
mhm.
exists. But if God exists, why is there so much suffering in this world?
We suffer not because God wants us to suffer. We suffer because we choose to suffer. We are addicted to our suffering. We are addicted to our pain because it makes us feel so important. Then I can tell a story as an influencer on YouTube and everybody will connect with me and then give me their credit card. Sorry, I made it not sound very nice. But God doesn't want you to suffer. God never wanted you to suffer. You chose to suffer. you know there can be one man. You might have heard this story, okay, and I think this is something real. Like you go to Italy, and these huge cathedrals are being built, and the people who started building them never saw them built. It took 3 generations, to build one of those huge monuments. And they would come every day and chip away at the stone. They chip away at the rock. Now they have a choice to chip in pain or to chip it in pleasure. It's a choice. So if you believe there is God, God doesn't want suffering. You suffer because you choose to suffer. You love your drama. And you can choose to not have your drama and instead have your dreams play out. And that's where surrender comes in. Because everything is divinely orchestrated. Everything is in divine timing. You are a father, right? Senflo, you have a child.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you ever hurt your child?
Not intentionally, no.
No, never. And you are just a freaking human and you would not hurt your child. So if you believe in God and divine, and God is your divine father, do you think he wants you to hurt? Do you think he will cast you in hell? Do you think he will put you in the flames because you have been bad and you have been wrong and you have been misguided and you didn't show up to the church and you didn't put enough money in that hat? You, a human father who would never do this, how can your divine father do this?
I do believe that I can't even comprehend the love that Source has for us, right? Because if God loves me more than I love my children, then I don't even understand what love is, right? Because I love my children more than anything in this world.
Mhm,
Allow me to rephrase the question, right? So,
mhm.
what about God, let's say, allowing the suffering of others, not just self suffering? I can understand that it's self inflicted and we have this addiction to just feeling. What about world disasters, for example? Why would He allow that to happen? Would it just be for
Bec-
perspective?
okay, God gave us free will and free choice, and world disaster is man-made. It's not God-made. If you're thinking about a
Mhm.
war or a battle or whatever, bankruptcy or whatever. Now you may be like, what about the cyclone? And what about the tornado? You can ask those questions, the natural calamities that we have. Think about it. I live in California and we have fires, okay? And we have earthquakes. Those are the two things. So in the Midwest, we had tornadoes, and by the coast, so you have the hurricanes, okay? So let me tell you a story. When man lived here 30,000 years ago, they knew when the cyclone was coming, when the hurricane was coming. And that is why in Florida coast, you had those trees. So when the wind rushed through those trees, they would slow down before they hit land. Now what happened? People want beachfront properties. Now the beachfront properties has to deal with the wind. So who made that disaster? Man or God?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. You know, we have fires in California, but this is shrubland. This is naturally how the land regenerates itself through the fires. What did man do? Oh, California, great weather, I'll build houses. The land will still need to burn. Guess what? Human beings live on that land. So their houses burn. Do you think this is God made or this is man made? Earthquakes. Japan has earthquakes. You know in Japan how they make their house? Out of paper. They make houses out of paper and wood. So when there's an earthquake, it's paper. Today it fell, tomorrow you put up the paper again. Nobody died. But when you have a house made of rocks and bricks and concrete and all these artificial things, and there's an earthquake, yeah, people will get trapped and they will die. Who made it? God or man?
Let's talk a little bit about what you have going on currently. So, I believe that you've written a couple of books. Is that correct?
Couple? I wrote 13 books.
13. Well, you're currently in the process of, I believe, completing a couple of books. You just completed one recently, correct?
Yes. So it's 4 books I'm writing, and
Wow.
it's a course in awakening. So the first one I got completed, and I'm editing it, and then there will be. So it's a 1 year thing. So there are 90 lessons in it, and you go through one lesson a day. It's a course in awakening.
What's the name of the book? Are you able to release that?
A course in awakening, the sacred
Oh,
contract.
that is the actual. Oh, okay. Oh, I actually thought we were speaking of two different books. So those are actually the same
You
book.
know, see, this is the challenge of being a creative person and someone who loves to write and someone who's good at writing and whose sole contract is to write. I mean, because writing is a cathartic process for me. So I still don't know if I'm going to publish it as one or two. It'll come out as of course, no, it's a sacred contract. So I don't know how I'm going to. I have a working title, and but it started off with a sacred contract, and I wrote a huge chapter, and then I'm like, oh man, people need this formula, and people need these steps, and let me give them. So I'm like, oh, I can come up with 365 steps. So I wrote 90, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to publish it not as one big, huge book that will scare people. So let's do 1 quarter at a time, Let's do 3 months, let's do 4 months, then do 4 months, then do 4 months, then do, no, 90 days, right? So yeah, so it's the how to
Nowadays,
honor your sacred contract, how to honor, yeah. So that's what it is.
understand. Well, at least you have the game plan to at least set it in motion. The last thing you need to worry about is the name, the title. I think that
Yeah,
the
right.
information you're gonna yeah, the information you're gonna provide there, especially I like the 90 days. That's a nice little challenge to provide people with.
Yeah, one day
Are
at a
you
time.
hoping to create an audiobook for this?
Oh, I need to hire you for that so you can read them all out.
Well,
I have I have so
I'll
many
take it
friends
on.
who yeah, no, I'm serious about this because I have been writing since day one. Okay, and I can tell you a story about my writing later on. But I started, actually, I published my first book in 2014 and it was on a dare because this friend said, you write every day, but there's no book in you. And I'm like, nobody says that to me. And in 11 days, I wrote a book called 11 Steps to Goal Getting. That was the first book I published in 2014. And it was just 11 days, right before Thanksgiving, I wrote it and it was done and I published it. And so I have been writing all these books and publishing, putting them all out, like 21 Days Stronger, 3 weeks, just sit for 3 weeks, go through that book, one day at a time. And trust me, at the end of 3 weeks, you will feel stronger because as a hypnotherapist, it's 21 days. And
Yeah.
and then I did, and my last book that I wrote, the book on happiness, which I think I wrote in 2020, and then I did not write anything. And then I was like, you know what is, and one day it came to me, what is my sacred contract? What is my soul contract? Why did I incarnate? Because this is a question I've asked forever in my life. And when I started writing, and I'm like, it's not about me. Whenever I write, it's not about me. It's about the one who's going to read it and benefit from it. And that's how this thing came about. And I have this friend who says, like, Keya, you write, but I don't like to read. When are you going to make the audiobooks? And I'm like, oh, I will do. And then I write another book. Oh, I'll do it. I write another book. So I never found the right voice to read my books. So maybe you could do that for me. Not for me,
I
for the
wouldn't mind.
world.
Well, it would be an honor. It would certainly be an
Thank you.
honor. So your talent for writing doesn't just stop at books, because I believe that you also have very interesting newsletters. Is that correct?
Mhm.
And this is through your website.
Yes.
Which website is that? Where can people find you?
CoachKeya.com. Go over
Any
there and
other?
subscribe to my newsletter. I
Yes,
call them
please
my love
do.
notes. I call them my love notes. Yeah.
I have
CoachKeya.com.
enjoyed them. I've been looking into them and I love them. I do enjoy them personally. So, where else can
Thank
people
you.
find you? You are also quite the content creator. Is that correct? I
This,
believe you are on. You mentioned earlier TikTok, correct?
yes, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and the Twitter and Medium. And
Uh,
yeah.
I'll definitely be adding those links in the description below for anyone interested in having a look at your work a little closer. Before I let you go,
Mhm.
I would like for you to leave our listeners with a message, any message you'd like.
Now you just caught me. Be kind to yourself.
Thank you. It was a true pleasure to speak with you today. I had a wonderful time. The gnosis that you hold, I think we only tapped into the surface of it, and I hope to hold conversation with you in the near future so we can continue. I thoroughly
Thank you
enjoyed our
so much.
conversation, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
We'll
Thank you
speak
for
very
your
soon.
time. Okay, take care. Blessings.
Much
Bye.
love. Bye.
Much love. Bye.